Minnesota Vikings have announced that 44 players will be reporting to CDCO Performance Center Bar and Grill for rookie camp. Now, it is a handful of UDFA tryouts as well as a couple of other veteran tryouts, plus a bunch of young veteran Vikings players as well as draft picks, UDFAs, etc. So now they announced 44. And they listed 8 linebackers, but they only had 6 on the roster. So maybe they're adding 2 more. It's possible. But as of right, meow, there's 6 young veteran players. There is 10 draft picks. All 10 will be reporting. Some haven't signed their contract yet, but they'll agree to an injury waiver. So if something happens to them, they'll in effect get their get their contract value. So it's a good watching out. 9 UDFAs as well as, well, I guess there's going to be 19 tryouts, even though 17 are going to be listed. Now, the notable tryouts, Brett Hundley from UCLA. You'll remember him from back in the day. He was a 5th-round pick by the Packers. He was seen at, like the year before, if he had declared, he was seen as a 1st-round pick, and then he didn't have a great final season in Westwood, and then he fell to the 5th round. And he was sort of seen as the heir, the initial heir to Aaron Rodgers, but not so much. Bounced around the league. Interesting they took 5. Hey, Teddy, but I don't know. But so I don't read too much into it unless Hundley unseats Nate Stanley. I guess it's fine. But you want to have basically a complete roster, so you're able to run a full practice. So you can have 7-on-7, 11-on-11. So that's why they're doing it. That's why they have every single position represented. Also, Isaiah Buggs coming out of Alabama was a 6th-round pick in 2019, I believe, by the Steelers. So nose tackle depth. Maybe he could make an impression here, but you'll see that a lot of familiar faces, whether draft picks or young veterans, are getting some tryouts around the league as they have rookie camps going on. So the other tryouts, Patrick O'Brien from UW. What's up? So Patrick O'Brien was quarterback for the Washington Huskies. He's most notably threw practice interceptions to Kyler Gordon and Trent McDuffie, or something like that. Mean-spirited, I know. Also, it worked out last time we brought in the UDFA Washington quarterback. Remember Jake Browning? Jake Browning was supposed to be the truth, man. But then, not so much. He'll always have that one-night practice. Running backs, you got draft pick Ty Chandler, as well as UDFA Brian Koback, as well as last year's UDFA preseason stud A.J. Rose. Asim Rose coming out of Kentucky. Wide receivers, you got Aliva Hefo from BYU. I know nothing about this man. You have the UDFA Thomas Hennigan from Appalachian State. I think he actually could have a little something there. The draft pick Jalen Naylor, as well as the young veteran Myra Mitchell, and then a couple other guys. There you go. Tight ends. So this is going to be interesting because this could be the duel for who's going to end up being tight end 2 for the Vikings. So you got Zach Davidson coming out of Central Mizzou, physical freak, more of a move tight end, 5th-round pick last season, as well as this year's 7th-round pick Nick Muse. He will not cruel us. All right, so they're going to be squaring off. Offensive line, you got 6, which I like when they have a limited number of offensive linemen for rookie camp, because that means that they're going to get as many snaps as possible. Ed Ingram, Vidarian Lowe, Tyrone Riley from NC State, Josh Sokol, the UDFA from Sacred Heart, Hunter Topel coming in from Mankato State Community College. It's so disrespectful. Why'd they put Mankato State CC? So now I intermittently have to explain this. So I went to Winona State, which is the Harvard of the Midwest, and one of our big rivals in sports was Mankato State. That's why we call it Mankato State. It's always going to be Mankato State, even though they try to rebrand. It's like, oh, we're Minnesota State now. It's like, we've been watching too much Coach. Na 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 na. And I know it's not a community college, but F them. That's it. That's it, man. All right, so just explaining that running gag. Orlando Umana coming in from Ole Miss as well. Defensive line, like we mentioned, Isaiah Buggs. You have the draft pick, Asezi Utamejo, coming in from the Gophers. So I think that he also notice the small number of defensive linemen as opposed to the number of linebackers, which if they have 8, and they also have Zach McLeod and Luigi Villain listed as a linebacker. So that means like it's full on. It's like full on to transition to a 3-4, baby. Let's go. As well as Tyree Stevenson, who I like a lot, coming in from Tulsa. I would love to have him in as some defensive line depth. Jalen Twyman, Don in the John Randall 93. Ooh. Come on, man. He's healthy, back at it. It's good to see him out there. Linebackers. So, again, they listed 8, or they said that there's going to be 8. They only listed 6, so probably 2 more names coming in. Asamoah, Tough Borland, William Kenku from Temple, the 2 edge rushers, like we mentioned, McLeod and Villain. Manny Walker also coming in from Temple. Temple in the house. Powerful Philly. Defensive backs. Got the draft picks, Booth, Seen, and Evans. It's going to be fantastic for them out there. And they'll pretty much be the starting defenders back there. So Booth, I'm sure Booth and Evans will be starting at the corners. Seen will be out there. Probably the UDFA Mike Brown at the other safety spot. So that's good. Also, Coney Durr coming in from the Gophers. Love to see it. And some other guys. Gabe, I looked up how to pronounce this. I screwed up. Burkich? I think I nailed it. All right, so powerful kicker from Oklahoma. Has some accuracy issues, but really intriguing UDFA. Glad the Vikings picked him up. I think that maybe they'll keep him on the practice squad. Sort of having that 2-kicker thing. Obviously, Greg Joseph is going to be the guy, barring some historic Minnesota sports collapse, which we've never seen, like from the Minnesota Wild. Whatever. Jordan Silver, long snapper from Arkansas. Maybe he'll show enough to bring him into the 90 and bring in some competition, as well as Gabe Wright, the punter, UDFA from Tulane. Now, don't sleep on these UDFA tryouts, even though we sort of dismissed them as like, those guys. But remember, Adam Thielen, CJ Ham, as well as the marvelous Marcus Sherrills were all UDFA tryouts. And as we said a bunch before, as a UDFA tryout, if you get picked from obscurity to the 90-man, you already passed through one hoop. You've already impressed the coaches. You've already impressed the executives enough where it's like, hey, maybe he'll stick around. So I actually do like the UDFA tryout. If they make the 90, I actually like their betting odds to say make the practice squad more than just a regular UDFA, even the UDFAs that they've given some significant guaranteed money to in relative terms. But exciting football related activities are back at it, man. And I'm sure that there will be some movement, like some of the UDFAs will be let go, some of the UDFA tryouts will be brought into the 90-man, replacing them, and it's gonna be good times, man. Just that first step. Plus, I mean, having Otomehu and Asamoah and Booth and Seen and Evans on the field at the same time. Woo! Come on, man. I'll take that defense against anyone right now. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings rookie camp rooster announced. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But the next, Skull, production value. As I burp.